Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. Apologies if my voice sounds a little off. I'm getting over a cold right now, but I was in the mood to play some Baldur's Gate 3 and hoping that there won't be any issues with my voice. With that out of the way, let's continue where we left off. Last time we helped Halsin rescue Thaniel, I believe his name was, but something had gone wrong and he asked us to meet him at camp. So that's where we're going to start out today. I don't know if anyone else in camp wants to talk, so let's just go straight to Halsin. Here you are.
What's up for discussion?
Thaniel is resting, but it's no easy slumber. I discovered what's wrong with him. The shadows rendered him in two when they bore him away to the Shadowfell. Half of his essence remained here, amidst the curse. What stayed behind would have been the strongest part of him. But after all these years left in the darkness, corruption must have taken hold.
Tell me I can help. Can it be undone? How do you know this?
I knew something was wrong when he didn't wake up. But now I'm even more certain. By now we should have seen some small glimmer of Thaniel's power. A sign that the land is healing. New growth, flowers in bloom. But there has been nothing.
Can it be undone?
Perhaps. If we can find Thaniel's lost half and make him whole again. Only the missing half may not come willingly. The curse will have sunk its tendrils deep, twisting Thaniel's essence into something else.
Any ideas how to find this missing half? You're sending me to look for a needle in a haystack in the dark? Once his essence is found, what then? I met a sort of shadow child before, a little boy named Oliver, around Thaniel's age. I think we should mention this because it's probably an exclusive topic since we found Oliver. Maybe Oliver will know where to find the other half of Thaniel?
And you saw this boy yourself? That can't be a coincidence, but we need to be sure. And I truly mean we, if you wish. Every moment counts, and I've asked much of you already without being at your side.
Alright, leave it to me.
This doesn't have to be your burden alone. Every moment counts, and I've asked much of you already without being at your side.
Yes, so you said.
If you want me, I'm yours. Against the curse, against the absolute. Anything. Just say the word.
We can just say the same line again. I met Oliver, yeah. Join me.
There is no room for me, I'm afraid. Perhaps dismiss another, then I can join you.
You can take Shadowheart's place. Druids, I think, depending on how he's built, could be a good healer as well. And party buffer. So take Shadowheart's place.
I'm with you.
Alright, he is level 1. So we're gonna have to go through and fully level him up. Alright, that'll take a bit of time. Bunch of inspirations going on at the moment. Alright, so he is just a druid. Guess he doesn't have his subclass yet. We get to pick that. So, Circle of the Land, Channel Arcane, Natural Arcana flowing through the earth and creatures. Top to cast powerful druidic magic. So is that focused more on the magic side of things? Moon, shift into your form into massive beasts and even primal elementals. So that's more focused on the wild shape. Circle of Spores, viewing death, necrosis, and fungal growth and sporulation. It's just another part of life. You can manipulate such spores to augment yourself and harm your foes. I don't think that fits his character very well. I'm going to go Circle the Moon and have him be focused on his wild shape. He'll still be able to do the magical casting, but perhaps not as well as a Circle of the Land. What does this particularly give him? He gets a cantrip, wild shape, 5 shapes, and then natural recovery. Replenish and expended spell slots. I can't talk today while out of combat. Probably like once per day or something. Not sure. Versus Moon, he loses the free cantrip, gains Lunar Mend, which allows him to spend spell slots to heal while wild shaped, and then he also gets a bear shape. Yeah, we'll go Circle the Moon. Definitely want him to have Cure Wounds. Healing Word would also be nice. I could give him Long Strider at least long enough to cast it on himself. Fairy Fire. Could be good since we keep running into invisible enemies. Ice Knife just so that he has another attack spell. Sure. Second level spells, always nice. So they're giving him lesser restoration. Probably not. Maybe we'll take off Ice Knife as well. And see what else we have available. Sure. Yeah, I don't want lesser restoration. We can typically use that outside of combat. So I'd rather leave it off of our prepared spells since we can just change up spells anytime outside of combat. So if someone gets, blinded or poisoned or whatever, outside of combat, we can just heal them. Something like that. Doesn't particularly matter because we can change up the spells a lot over the next bunch of levels that he's going to gain. Get another cantrip. I don't even know what cantrips he started with. Resistance is alright. Guidance. Since he's taking Shadowheart's place, I definitely want him to have guidance so that we still have that in the party. And then your feat. We could obviously give him an ability improvement just to boost his wisdom. Are there any feats that boost wisdom? So maybe at least for now we'll just go with boosting his wisdom. It's a safe choice. Oh, I didn't look at his prepared spells. It probably gave me stuff I don't care about. Okay. Let's remove those. Okay, he could grab Call Lightning as well. Or no, we have Lightning Bolt. Lightning strikes all targets within range. Then for 10 turns, you can call down lightning again without expending a spell slot. Strikes all targets within range? What does that mean? Because it's got a 60-foot range. Surely it's not hitting every target within 60 feet for 3d10 damage. And lasts for 10 turns where I can just keep doing that. That would be so brokenly overpowered. But it doesn't specify a number of targets. Or what the area is. Because I would assume all targets, meaning it's got a range of 60 feet and then it would have a small, like 10-foot circle or something. But it doesn't specify that. Or there would be a 60-foot line. How it's worded, it sounds really powerful, so I probably want to try it just to see what it does. I mean, daylight sounds nice, but since the shadow creatures can just dispel all light sources, I suspect this wouldn't actually work. Movement speed quartered. Wow. See, that's what I would expect for Call Lightning, where it's a 60-foot range, but then it has a 20-foot area of effect in that range. something like that. But instead it just says it's a 60-foot range. So I'm wondering if there is an area effect, and maybe they just don't have space on this line to put it, so they just left it off, leaving it vague. Sometimes they do that, where they leave things without giving as much information as they need, such as Longstrider, which we know is a ritual spell, and outside of level up shows it's a ritual spell. But for whatever reason in level up, they hide that. I don't understand. Give me all the information so that I know how your spells work, so I know how best to use them. I don't know, none of these really are calling out to me. Thunderwave can be powerful. I could just speak with animals. I suppose we've got enough spell slots and nothing that's really calling out to me. If we run across an animal, I'm going to want to speak with animals available. So, might as well. Ooh, subclass features. Nice. While in beast form, your attacks count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical damage. Nice. And then you can also turn into a panther or an owlbear. Owlbear. Nice. Panther's probably also pretty cool. 45 hit points that increase every 2 druid levels. 65 hit points. Yeah, owlbear sounds really good. And then another spell slot, which they've thrown in Ice Knife, I suppose. I'm fine with that. We were thinking about taking it earlier. Now we have 4th level spells. They've given us Confusion. Confuse a group of creatures, causing them to attack randomly. Attack at random, wander around aimlessly, or occasionally skip turns in their stupor. Again, it's a 60-foot range. No description on how many people it targets, or how it's chosen, or what. Just a group of creatures. They need to give more info on these spells. Freedom of movement can be good. Half damage. I wonder if that... Because again, they word things not always amazing, as I've stated many times. Are they going to treat that as having resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing? Or is this a separate thing? So if I use this on Karlach while she's enraged, does she have resistance to all things besides psychic, and then also takes an additional half damage from bludgeoning, piercing, slashing? Or is it going to count it as resistance, even though it doesn't call it resistance here, and so it would just stack and be negated? Because giving her quarter damage from bludgeoning, piercing, slashing while enraged would be really powerful. But if it's just resistance, but they chose not to say resistance, then it would be completely worthless on her when she's enraged. A waste of a 4th level spell slot. Conjure elementals. Conjures can be really powerful, to my understanding. I don't know how powerful minor elementals are. Ooh, would I want elementals or woodland beings? Wait, I summon a dryad who can then summon woodwoads. Summoning other things feels broken. I'll probably try both and see which I prefer. 2d8 plus 46. Pretty good. Transform a creature into a sheep. Nice. We'll go with the conjure. At least for now. Saber-toothed tiger. Shred armor regenerates hit points. 62 hit point creature that regenerates health. I'm wondering where it says 62 hit points that increase every 2 druid levels. Is that 2 levels after this current level? Or because Halsin's level 8 does have 4 levels of increase, and all of the wild shape forms have the same 4 levels of increased health? Don't know. Giving me confusion again. I don't know about confusion. We'll go with Stone Skin. Cast Stone Skin on himself and then wild shape into a saber-toothed tiger. Or something. And then another feat, which is the same problem I had before. We could again do ability, get his wisdom up to 20, but then I'd have to choose something else, like dex, but it would be something that we wouldn't complete. I'm just surprised I didn't see any that boost wisdom. There's a bunch of dex, strength, and charisma. I guess I'm going to go ability improvement, because everything else I'm looking at, it's all okay stuff. But this is a guaranteed bonus. It helps out all of our spells. And if he's going to be a medium armor, maybe I don't put it in dex. Dex would help with his bow. But that's it. I could do con, and we work on boosting his con up to 16 next level, I guess level 12. Which sounds more useful to get him more health than just slightly better accuracy with a bow. Yeah, I'm thinking that. I know it took a long time on that, but that's where we're going to be. Just wisdom and con. Good enough. Anything else you want to say?
Oakfather preserve you.
You said Daniel's missing part of himself. Any idea how we can find it?
No matter how it's been twisted by the shadows, it is still part of Thaniel's essence. It will resemble him somehow, and may show signs of his power. Look for signs of life in the darkness, wildflowers where everything else is dead. The curse cannot subdue the power Thaniel bears. Not entirely. In fact, I think I saw just the sort before, not long after we first came within reach of the Shadow Curse. Fool that I am, I did not grasp their significance at the time. There is a ruin some way outside of Last Light. I caught a glimpse of fresh blooms there, but did not investigate further. I shall mark it upon your map.
I'm assuming it's Oliver's house. I met a peer of yours, a druid Jahira. Do you know her?
Only by reputation. She was present when we marched against Ketheric Thorm, but on the far end of the battle lines from where I fought. And in the chaos that ensued, well, our forces were scattered. I led some to safety, but never learned of her fate. I'm glad to hear she survived. Though in truth, I should not be surprised. She was always said to be formidable and cunning. I could have learned much from her, no doubt.
You're an archdruid. What could you possibly have left to learn from anyone? Or you seem to admire her greatly. I mean, everyone has more to learn. Even the most powerful archdruid or archmage or whatever, none of them will think they're just done learning and they know all there is to know. So I'm just going to say you seem to admire her greatly.
There is much to admire, judging by the stories. I cannot help but wonder how she would have handled some of the challenges I faced as Archdruid. Would she have helped the refugees? Defended the Grove? Controlled Korga? At least now we can benefit from her presence, and perhaps work to a common goal.
You spent all these years fighting the Shadow Curse. What happens once it's lifted?
Honestly, I never thought I'd make it that far. But the Absolute is a threat to all, and I promised I'd help you with your parasite. So, I'll remain with you. If you'll have me, that is.
Of course, I only wish you'd joined me earlier. You'll make a decent workhorse. This campsite doesn't haul itself around each day. Wow. I'll see how useful you prove to be. I need you to stay at camp. Of course, I only wish you'd joined me earlier.
So do I. But one duty at a time.
Am I holding up? I feel like I haven't gotten to know you properly. What happened before when the Shadow Curse was unleashed? What exactly are we referring to there? What happened before when the Shadow Curse was unleashed?
Druids and Harpers joined together to put a stop to Ketheric Thorm.
Oh, the original time.
We marched on Moonrise, and after much fighting, we prevailed. Even in defeat, though, Ketheric turned to Shah. Not long after we sealed him away in his tomb, the Shadow Curse took hold. No one had seen the likes of it before. No one knew how to react. Then it started to claim all those within its reach. Those who had survived the battles now fell to the shadows, became part of the shadows. And worst of all, I lost contact with Thaniel. I wanted to try and find him, but we couldn't stay. We would have all succumbed. When the Archdruid of the Grove, my predecessor, was seized by the curse, I had to lead the survivors to safety. That was my first day as Archdruid. An inauspicious beginning.
Inauspicious? Sounds like you did what you had to do. You saved lives. Not every day as a leader can be a glorious one. In the past, you faced the curse, you rescued Thaniel from the Shadowfell. No, you did what you had to, and you managed to save lives. Well done.
You are right, but I must not lose focus until everything has been put right. I've wasted too much time already. Years in which nature has suffered.
I'm still a little confused about how Thaniel, a person, is so tied to nature. Like, does every location on the planet have a being that is the heart of the nature there? Or is there some special thing about this location and Thaniel? Like, how does the destruction of one boy cause the destruction of this area, or the destruction of this area harm that one boy? Like, what makes them so connected? Hopefully we figure that out in time. If they've already told us and I've just forgotten. I think it's been like somewhat talked about that he's tied, but not how or why, or if there's anything unusual that caused that. How am I holding up in your estimation?
Given the circumstances, you're faring as well as can be expected, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I feel like I haven't gotten to know you properly yet.
It's true, and I can't imagine I helped with that. Sometimes I let the task at hand consume me, and people think I'm obsessed. Trust me, the day I no longer have to talk about the Shadow Curse will be a happy one. What would you like to know?
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're quite large for an elf. How did you come to be a druid? Do you have people out there somewhere? Family, friends, a lover, perhaps? Tell me something about yourself I wouldn't even think to ask. They're all decent questions. Don't take this the wrong way, but you're quite large for an elf.
I am? Trust me, it's been said. You show more restraint than most in avoiding the subject until now.
Any idea how it came about? Or you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. Yeah, how did it come about?
Who's to say? Perhaps there's a half-orc buried somewhere in my ancestry. Or perhaps not. Sometimes I think conventional wisdom is too narrow about what someone can or cannot be. Stranger things have most certainly happened.
Isn't he like strength 10? Isn't that what I recall seeing? I'll need to check afterwards, but I think he's strength 10 and he has a size and muscle mass that doesn't seem to match a strength 10 character. But what do I know? How did you become a druid?
I had a friend when I was young, long ago. He played with me in the forests where I grew up. But eventually, I realized no one else had heard of him. It was Daniel, of course. Nature was my very first friend. I get older, but he hasn't changed a day. I knew then that I had to be more than a companion to him. I had to be a protector.
Feels like this is aiming towards a romance, which is not my intent. But the rest of the question is a valid question. Do you have people out there, family, friends, etc.? But I don't want it to go into a flirting route, so maybe I'll skip it. I'll consider it for later. Tell me something about yourself that I wouldn't even think to ask.
I suppose you wouldn't be shocked to learn I love animals and nature.
No.
I know. Well-trodden territory. Well then, let's see. I whittle in my spare time, and I've something of a sweet tooth. Although everyone's very amused when I say I like honey.
Whittling, what do you make? So you turn into a bear and you like honey. A little on the nose. You're fortunate to know what you like. I wouldn't pay any attention to what others think. Whittling, what do you make?
Ornaments, utensils, and ducks. I like ducks.
I would have expected he would carve bears. But maybe that would be a little on the nose. So you're a bear, and you turn into a bear and you like honey.
I like what I like. Once you get to my age, you realize there's little point in denying yourself, so long as others aren't affected.
As you mentioned it, how old are you anyway?
350 years young. I've been privileged to watch saplings grow into mighty boughs.
350.
Thank me by returning the favor, why don't you? Come on. I'm sure you've something better than carving wooden ducks.
I live in mortal fear of krakens, though I've never actually seen one, or I don't think there's anything worth sharing. Those are my two options. I mean, I guess after he tells me about himself, saying nothing feels really bland. So I'm gonna go with the fear of krakens, apparently.
Well, they are fierce creatures from what I understand. But as long as you avoid the high seas, I think you can consider yourself safe.
Well, that's enough for now.
Anytime.
Okay, so we finally got a lot more information about Halsin. Now, because I'm curious... Yeah, strength 10. That is not how I would design a strength 10 character. Like the physical shape. He looks far more burly than strength 10. Alright, we need to give him equipment. He's got light armor, but he's capable of wearing heavy. He has no weapons. All he's got equipped is a torch. Not even a bow. Alright.
Got a long
What do we have? Unfortunately, I just sold all of my excess equipment. Didn't think that one through, did I? We go to equipment. Maybe go to see the whole party, except we can't sort this by equipment? Yes, we can. Brilliant. Did I leave heavy armor on anyone? Or medium, rather. I mean, that's not bad. The Psionic Ward only helps Gith, but whenever you succeed on a saving throw, you automatically get a D4 hit points. It's a decent choice. Unless I find something that I like better. That's probably fine. I don't want to sell his personal armor, so we'll send it to camp. Can I sort by just weapons? Yes. Let's see. What weapons are you proficient in? Not spellbook. Character sheet. You have proficiency longsword, shortbow, longbow. Presumably as a druid you have certain druid proficiencies. There we go. So light, medium, and shields. Simple weapons. But we could give him long swords, short swords, and scimitars. Does he have spellbook? Do you have Shillelagh? He does. Okay. Then we should give him a staff or club, because that'll be better than a long sword. Let's go back to your inventory. Quarterstaff. Do we have any magical staffs? Probably not. No. Alright, well, we'll give you that staff. Then he is proficient in short bows and long bows, but it looks like the only bow we have is this one that Astarion is using. Can you use hand crossbows? You can. Okay. Or is it saying he's not proficient with it, so he can use it without proficiency? Well, it is giving him +3. Oh, that's just his dex +2, +1 for the +1 weapon, so he doesn't have his proficiency on it. Versus the staff, he's got the +3 because of his strength 0, but +3 proficiency. Ha! So he's equally terrible with both. Awesome. Alright, we gotta get you some better equipment, dude. Oh well, we'll sort that out later.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Let's leave camp.
Take a moment, Bran, and savor our victory over the Drider.
And we want to get our way to House in Deep Shadows. Which is north. Here.
Should mind my stab.
I think I'm actually going to end the episode here, and we will talk to Oliver. Hopefully he's still around. Yeah, we'll talk to Oliver next episode. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you then. Bye.